Yo, what's up, guys? What are you doing today, man? We'll be talking about my New York Yankees. It is officially World Series Day. For the first time, my viewing experience, the New York Yankees are in the postseason in the World Series. And unfortunately, in 2009, I was, 7 years old. Really wasn't watching baseball. Now, the year is 2024, 22 years old, and I'm really experiencing the New York Yankees in the World Series, and I am ecstatic. I am excited. I'll be streaming the game 8:08, probably right on the dot. I have a stream highlights coming after that. I have a post game, talk about the game and things like that, like I've done the ALDS, the LCS, and now the World Series. The Yankees are in the World Series. Can't believe the days here. Nervous really quite haven't hit me just yet, but coming into the game, like the first couple of minutes, it'll hit me. In LA, 5:08 their time, 8:08 our time. We'll be there. We will be there. And I just want to get through and look at the World Series roster and see what we're cooking with. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. So we see that Garrett Cole is on a roster. Nestor Cortez Jr. is on a roster. Garrett Cole starting game 1 of the World Series. Nestor Cortez is back in the roster. Good to see him. He, in the second half of the season, he really took off. There was a point during the regular season near trade deadline where I'm like, Nestor Cortez, you might have to get off my team. You seeing what the Astros traded away to get Yusei Kikuchi. You seeing what these other middle of the rotation guys are getting in trade packages. Nestor Cortez, buddy, with all due respect, I gotta ship you out of here. And at that time, he was pitching to like a 4 ERA potentially. Even off the season with like a sub 4 something ERA. They even tried him in a multi-inning relief role. He closed out the last innings of a game against the Cubs. That was actually the first series that Luke Weaver became the Yankees closer. So that series put Nestor Cortez in that multi-inning, long-inning relief role. A role that they're trying to get like Marcus Stroman potentially in, but not really, because Marcus Stroman really isn't that good. There's a reason why the Yankees were up by 4 runs in the 7th inning. They went to Jake Cousins and Mark Leonard Jr. and this, that, and third. You could have said, why not just go to Stroman for the last 3 guys? You don't have to waste anybody. They know Marcus Stroman isn't that good. Let's be fucking for real. But Nestor Cortez is actually a pretty solid major league pitcher. I liked him, especially when I saw him in that Cubs series and that multi-inning relief role. People are like, oh, he could start game 3. I mean, he already started game 4 for Luis. He was like that if he was fully healthy. With all due respect, I mean, seeing Heel in that game 4 against the Guardians, he went 4 innings, decent amount of walks. Like, it's tough. So I get both ends of the spectrum. But Nestor Cortez is back. Love to see that. Jake Cousins back in the roster. Kirk Cousins' cousin. He had 4 strikeouts and 5 outs in his last appearance in the ALCS. Shout out to my guy, Jake Cousins. Luis Heel, probably the game 4 star of the World Series. Tim Hill, the American hero, he was phenomenal in the ALCS. Shout out to Tim Hill. There was a point in the LDS against the Royals and maybe the game 1 of the LCS. So I'm like, Tim Hill, man, love you dearly, but we might not see you for the rest of the playoff series. And he ended up getting 5 outs 1 game. Just shout out to Tim Hill, the double play demon. Claims on the roster. Hopefully after a couple of days off he can bounce back, because his performances were pitiful. Gives it the walk-off homer to David Fry, the 2-run homer. They're giving up a leadoff single to Bo Naylor, and then he gives up the 2-run double to Josh Naylor to make the game from 6-3 after a J-Ram double to 6-5, and Mark Leonard Jr. had to put out the fire. Thankfully he did. Tommy Kahnle, obviously he got the massive save in game 4 in Cleveland to go up 3-1 in the ALCS. Couple of traffic on a base pass. John Birdie ended up bobbling a play at second base, filling in for Gleyber Torres after getting I believe pinch running for somebody, if I'm not mistaken. And shout out to Tommy Kahnle. Mark Leonard Jr. is on a playoff roster. This is actually his first time on the ALDS or the ALCS roster. He did not pitch at all in the ALDS, but he did end up pitching in the ALCS, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't on the roster. He pitched a 4 ERA in the Cubs. We look at his expected stats, underlying metrics. Look at Baseball Savant. He's a strikeout demon. Has a really good splitter. Now the sinker genuinely reeks. But outside of that, he has really good off-speed pitches. Good to see MLJ in. This is a guy that, if you asked me when you initially got him, this guy might be our closer, and then I went from this guy, don't even mention the words playoff roster and Mike Leonard Jr. in the same sentence, because this dude reeks. and he got some big timeouts in the series against the Guardians. And obviously, he had that flip to Rizzo where he hit Rizzo damn near in the crotch, and Rizzo wasn't able to come up with it. I mean, it was just a tough player for MLJ. I give that more to MLJ than Rizzo, but that's just my humble opinion. Tim Mayza on the roster. I'm not really a fan of Tim Mayza. I don't know how he keeps sneaking onto the roster. He literally just don't think it's good. I mean, he's a sinker baller, just now throwing 95 miles an hour. We can get ground ball. It's not a big strikeout guy. Just not a big fan of Tim Mayza, to be quite frank. I don't know how he keeps making these rosters, especially since the Yankees, they don't really like trust him. I mean, how many times do we see Tim Mayza warming up last game, even for the Yankees in a game 5 of the ALCS, and they just didn't put him into the game, maybe for spots against lefties and things like that. But I just don't trust Tim Mayza, but that's just my opinion. Carlos Rodon, Game 2 starter, had a really phenomenal start in the first game of the ALCS. And then in that game, game 5 to close it out, he pitched decently well. He gave up like 2 runs and like, 4 1/3, 4 2/3. Got a couple swing and misses, and then Steven Kwan, I think, got him with an RBI single. And before that, what was it? Bo Naylor driving in his brother Josh Naylor, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that was at the wheels, that Luis Heel start. I don't know. I'm getting these games messed up. It's been 4 days of rest. I was officially locked into MLB. Now I'm kind of unlocked a little bit, locking into NBA, and obviously locked into the NFL. You know my body. Comes down to Game 2 starter, Clark Schmidt, the Game 3 starter. Clark Schmidt, he hasn't given us a 5 inning performance yet. Unfortunately, he's given us 4 2/3 and back-to-back against the Orioles and against the Cleveland Guardians. I like Clark Schmidt a lot. He pitched to a sub-3 ERA this season, but I definitely need to see some more length out of Clark Schmidt, especially 5 to 6. But we are going up against one of the best offenses in Major League Baseball in the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the fact that he wasn't able to go to 4, the fact that he wasn't able to go 5 innings against lesser offenses in the Orioles and the Guardians definitely is interesting to say the least. Marcus Stroman's on the roster. He has not pitched a single inning this postseason. He was not on the ALDS roster, but he was on the ALCS roster. He has not pitched a single inning this postseason. I didn't even see Stroman warming up, so Stroman's just there if the Yankees are up by like a unconceivable or unfathomable amount of runs, or they're down by so many runs that you just like mop up duty. Marcus Stroman, you're gonna have to wear this whether you pitch well or not. This is a game that is over, no way of coming back, which obviously there's a way coming back. It's baseball, but y'all get the point. You just come into the game, we can use you and not have to waste any of our other relievers and just prepare for the next game. Then Luke Weaver, the closer, our closer, shout out to my guy Luke Weaver. He definitely bounced back for some momentum after that Game 3, being a pitch, a strike, and out away from the Yankees going up 3-0 in the ALCS, and the John Kensington hits an absolute bomb, a bomb that I made this troll tweet about after somebody was like, after Aaron Judge hit that homer that game, and they're like, Aaron Judge at his postseason moment, and the Guardians fan in the comments like, quote shoot, he's like, nobody's gonna remember it, LMFAO. And then after that, I was like, bookmark. And then I was like, after we won, and once I hit the homer, I'm like, yeah, now nobody's gonna remember that John Kensington homer, LMFAO. I got like 5.2k likes. Like, hey, let me cook. So shout out to Luke Weaver. He ended up closing out Game 5 of the ALCS, and the Yankees in their first one since 2009 with the 2-out save and getting the flyout from Lane Thomas to Juan Soto, the Game 5 hero, with the massive 3-run homer. Now we want to get into the catchers, Jose Trevino, Austin Wells. Jose Trevino, he caught one game of the ALCS. He started one game. He got an RBI single against Matthew Boyd in Game 2. They really didn't see him after that. Outside of Game 5, he came in late because they pinch ran, I want to say, for Austin Wells, and Trevino ended up catching the last half inning in the bottom of the 10th. And and then Austin Wells, he had that homer. Outside of that, nothing to write home about outside of just his defense, which has been incredible. It's been impeccable. It's been, you just can't further say anything. I mean, it's just been straight up phenomenal. Blocking, I've had a couple of questionable things I've seen with Austin Wells' framing, but for the most part, he's been pretty damn good defensively. Anthony Rizzo's on the ALCS roster. I mean, he's on the World Series roster. Anthony Rizzo's first time in the World Series since he was a Cub when they went against the Cleveland Indians at the time. I believe that was 2017. It was like also the time where the Cavs came back from 3-1. The Indians blew a 3-1 lead. Like, just an incredible postseasons by both leagues in the NFL, and not the NFL, by the NBA and the MLB. Gleyber Torres, leadoff Gleyber, he's back on the roster. Obviously, that was nothing that anybody wasn't expecting. Anthony Volpe's on the roster. He's had a really good postseason so far. He's only had one blip defensively, was the error in Game 2 of the ALCS with the Yankees that were losing, and Tim Hill came into the game and got an error, and they both ended up scoring. The runs from second and third, like Garrett Hampson single, like, okay. Jason Dominguez is on the roster. Trent Grisham on the roster. Actually pretty surprised to see Trent Grisham on the roster, since I don't know when he'll actually play, because he only plays center field, but Judge is playing center field. You're not going to defensive substitute Aaron Judge in case anything happens. And maybe you just have Grisham off the bench as that lefty. If you need a home run, you put him into the game. But then you have Jason Dominguez, who was also a switch hitter and obviously can hit lefty. So I don't get what Trent Grisham's purpose on the team is, but it looks like he is still in the roster, and obviously he is, because his name is penciled in. Aaron Judge's on the roster. Hopefully he can have a good World Series. Juan Soto, our Glorious Kings, on the roster. Our outstanding playoff risers on the roster. I believe he had 4 hits on all ALCS. He won ALCS MVP. 4 of those hits were all homers. So Jack outstanding, you saved my life. Oliver Verdugo's on the roster. I expect him to play everyday left field. Utility guy, we have Oswaldo Cabrera, who play first primarily, potentially some third, depending on the second utility guy, Jazz Chisholm Jr., who's just been straight up pitiful in the postseason. Hopefully he can have a good World Series. Up to this point, I don't care how well he's played. The fact that we're in the World Series and he hasn't played well, if he can show up in the World Series, he will be beloved forever. In Yankee lore, he will be beloved forever. So Jazz Chisholm Jr., show up in the World Series. Your ALDS and ALCS struggles right out the window, my brother, because you were just chef's kiss phenomenal in the regular season. Need to show that. A lot of swing and miss from him. He's trying to be the hero. He's trying to do this, do that. He's trying to get the big hit. Not trying to get the big hit. He's trying to flip the script. He's trying to change the scoreboard. And when at points you get the big hit, give me that hit up the middle. Get 2 runs to score. Give me an RBI single. Give me an RBI double. It doesn't always have to be the 3-run homer, the 2-run homer. It doesn't always have to be that. Just get a hit. Just get a hit. Just get a hit. So looks like Nestor Cortez Jr. is on the roster for John Birdie. John Birdie, interesting that he's off the roster. I mean, he did have the bobble in Game 4 of the ALCS against the Cleveland Guardians. I'm also trying to remember, though, who is the backup first baseman for Anthony Rizzo? Oswaldo Cabrera, correct? A.K.A. my boy Waldo. The Yankees only 2. I don't know why my computer keeps turning off right here. But whatever. I don't know what's going on, but Yankees only have 2, what's it called? What? It kind of maybe makes sense, because John Birdie was really only a platoon against lefties starting pitchers. The Dodgers don't have any lefty starting pitchers. They have Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Jack Flaherty, and Walker Buehler. Now in the bullpen, they do have Anthony Banda, former Yankee, and also Alex Vesia, who probably will be on the roster, as well as Bruce Gradwell, who's a right-handed pitcher. But I just learned that Evan Phillips, the Dodgers closer coming into the season now, he's not the closer anymore because it's Blake Treinen, former Oakland Athletic. But at least him, Kopech, have been kind of the set of men in recent months to Blake Treinen, and yeah, so that's tough for them. And then for us, Nestor Cortez Jr. is back. Hopefully, he said he's still pitching through this injury, and if he has to miss all the next season, it won't matter as long as he wins a ring, which is just an absolute dog. But I also hope that he's not going to hinder us, because there's a difference between going all out and straight up just pitching poorly and hurting your team. And hopefully they can trust him in a multi-inning role, because they definitely did not trust Marcus Stroman in a multi-inning role whatsoever. Which tells you something about Marcus Stroman, all due respect, because he's a vesting option for like 2 more seasons. So anybody want Stroman or what? What's up? But yeah, so it looks like Nestor Cortez Jr. is on a roster. John Birdie's off, which makes sense now in hindsight. They don't have any lefties starting pitchers, and Birdie, he's a speed guy, so he was also one of those. That's interesting, honestly, because Jason Dominguez, you can either pinch hit for him or you can pinch run with him. I should say pinch hit him or pinch run him. Outside of that, the Yankees don't have any speed on the bench outside of Jason Dominguez. So, and John Birdie and Jason Dominguez are the two speedsters on the bench last season. So remember, John Birdie did end up scoring when he was on third base on one of those hits. So very interesting that John Birdie is not on the roster for his speed, but I guess you can just slot a Jason Dominguez there for his speed. But yeah, I don't know what the purpose of Trent Grisham is. He hasn't had a single at bat all postseason. He hasn't played in the postseason. The only position is center field, and Aaron Judge has that on lock. So really want to see what Boone has to say about that. A very interesting decision to go for Trent Grisham over John Birdie. But in the grand scheme of things, if it comes down to that, that will be one of the least of our worries. Hopefully. But yeah, this is the Yankees 2024 official World Series roster. Yeah. But other than that, yo, that is the video. So go down below, drop a like, comment down below, sub up, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok to your boy John. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and I'm out, man. Peace.